Do we have everybody? Oh, Rick having issues.
Party or
you can Roman, whichever one works.
Lend me your
you know, you could sit in the party, you could sit in the Discord. I would rather stay in the Discord, or definitely be in the Discord regardless. But if you want to be in here too, that's fine.
Where, like Race Control 1 or where
Race Control 1's where we're gonna be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you'll hear me call caution over Discord. So the best way to do it is when I call caution, they'll be racing the line. Best thing to do is just get up on the track, as they're, make sure they're still not racing another lap, but
my name's
just
not
get up
Kate.
there and, I know. And the other trick is too is if everybody ends up hitting, instead of just keep going on pace speed, just go like 5-10 miles an hour, wait for them to come out of pit road so we don't have to do an extra pace lap. If they run out and catch you, and then somebody's gonna end up left behind. So if there's lap cars that are still gonna pit behind you, then just keep going pace speed. But if everyone somehow pits, then just stick with them.
Okay. Sounds good. Alright guys, I'm gonna move over. Good luck on the broadcast. I will catch y'all later.
Can you hear me now, darling?
Oh, okay, there we go.
Fantastic.
Back to you, Pitbull Rick.
Atlanta, Joe Hart's got to put 4 tires on the car if he wants to make it all the way to the end of the race.
Actually, Atlanta, I was down in pit road with Nohar, and he got a mozzarella cheese stick wrapped with prosciutto, because he doesn't favor his health, so he's gonna have to pit again here pretty soon. Back to you, Pete.
Love it, dear boy. You've been chewing rocks this afternoon.
Alright, I'm ready to go when you guys are. I can pull up the results from last night. Once I'll introduce you guys as usual, and then if you guys, while we're doing qualifying, could talk about the results these two teams had in the previous round, and then go through the roster, and then wow.
It's in Discord, dummy.
It's right next to where you found the roster.
Come on, Tim Allen. God.
Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words shall never
But
harm me.
rocks are my best friend.
Stems and seeds will get you high, man.
I'll talk about the race from last night. I would like you guys, instead of reading the bios, just talk about how these two teams got out of round 2.
The one's easy
And then-
to buy.
Well,
Take that one,
one's
Atlanta.
very easy.
Take that one, Atlanta.
Then you can talk about the first round.
Well, they got the bye. Hey, why don't you tell us about American Ethanol?
Yeah, right. Yeah, just mention the round 1 result. Then shouldn't be too hard to find. But yeah, that one, and then second round for the other one. Yep, I'm good to go.
I'm gonna get off my phone here and get back on my phone.
Sounds good. Well, we are about to go live here tonight at Talladega for the Fast Family Racing Showdown Series. It's round 3, race 3. Mr. Slide Job in the party with us. I am Rick James, and JRM Dohar are going to be doing some commentary with us. Mr. Slide Job, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I am doing good, Atlanta. Any day we do, we have some echo there.
Yeah.
Any day that we race a track as special as Talladega is a great day for me, especially tonight being a doubleheader, this being the first of 2. So I'm excited. And, talking about excitement, boy, did we have a good one last night. We had our first of 3 Talladega races between NAOR and TNT, and boy, it was a tight one. We saw NAOR take a huge lead in stage 1, but TNT ended up coming back and winning the second 2 stages, but it just was not enough. The final score for that race, 306 to 284 in favor of NAOR, but definitely a close one. No penalties in that race. Shout outs to Q-Dog for leading NAOR with 50 points, Dan the Lawn Man second and 41 points. And a big shout out also to Twisted Navy, coming home with 50 points, top for TNT, and coming home with the race win. Jacket FND, 41 points, second place. Unfortunately, that race was cut a little bit short as we had already passed the 75% mark, and we had another server lag that we're still dealing with. So, it is what it is, but either way, we got to see a ton of great and crazy racing last night. I expect the same, if not better, tonight, as we got 2 very excellent teams, especially a team that we haven't seen for a couple weeks now. We have not yet seen SXRL in a second race since their bye win first, so it is a great day. But let's meet our commentators tonight. First, you just heard him, Atlanta Racing. You are back for yet another race with us, your first of round 3. So how excited are you for this first race for you in round 3, and what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, Talladega being one of my favorite tracks, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'll be headed there in just a few weeks, so that will be a very fun time. But, it's a fast track, and these guys are going to have to work together. We see a lot of single file running here at Talladega, so it's definitely going to get interesting. Couldn't even talk for a second there. The thing is I'm worried about the servers lagging. I've seen a couple of people on Twitter talk about it today, so that's one of my my biggest fears. I just hope this race can get all the way through, and we'll have a good time here tonight.
Absolutely, and hopefully with the early start time tonight, we should be able to dodge the craziness of the lag. But either way, it's going to be full of excitement, I'm sure. Alongside you, I'm Rick James here in the booth. His first time, I believe, in the Super Speedway round. Rick, what are you excited about for tonight?
Hi, Slide Job. Hi, Atlanta. Hi, Dohar. As you heard Slide Job mention, I'm Rick James, 36, and I'm excited for all of it. This past week has been one of fantastic racing at plate tracks all over this showdown. Leagues showcasing all kinds of talent and strategy we've never seen the likes of before. So I'm hoping for a strong competition tonight, and one that's going to come right down to the wire.
Absolutely, and if anything that we can take away from the first 2 races, it's going to be that a lot of these drivers just were not prepared to have clean, super competitive racing at these super speedways. Usually a lot of leagues will have a lot less drivers, and it'll be clean and fun, and then they get to some of the bigger ones, and issues happen, whether it be lag or just drivers not being able to handle the draft or the cars at those speeds. But we've seen some wild and crazy racing, and it's been fun so far. So cannot wait for this one. And last but not least, in the booth for his first time also in the Super Speedway round, we have JRM Dohar back with us. So thank you for coming, and what are you excited about for Talladega?
Well, for this race, for one, they're racing on the track that I really wanted my team to race on, but we get to draw last for our racetrack. But I'm really excited that we're going to see a full 10v10 the first time in this round. In match number 1, of course, we only had 9 versus 9, and last night we only had 8 versus 9. So we're actually going to see 20 cars out on the racetrack for the first time. It's going to be pandemonium. You're going to have 10 guys from one side trying to get with each other, the other 10 guys on the other side trying to work and get with each other as well. A lot of strategy can definitely unfold, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the race tonight and seeing how these teams work together to accomplish the goal of winning this race and moving on to the round of 8.
Absolutely, and we have, as I mentioned before, one team that got the bye in round 1, and the third seeded team, probably the more highly ranked of all the matches that we're going to see in round 3. So, it's quite possible that maybe one of these teams is one of the ones that moves all the way. So we'll never know until we get there. So thank you for that, and cannot wait. So without further ado, let's go down trackside for a pre-race ceremony.
All right. Well, usually right now I would play a American national anthem and the flag and everything, but yesterday marked the 19th anniversary of the September 11th attacks in New York City. So instead of showing the flag, with no disrespect to the anthem or the flag, I thought I would show every face of the victim of that day. So that is what you are looking at right now. And I would just like to take a 10-second moment of silence just to remember everyone who passed away that day, and all the firefighters, police, medics, and heroes that we lost. All right. Well, we greatly appreciate that, and we will always remember that day. So, Mr. Slide Job, with that, we are going back up to you, sir.
Absolutely. We're going to get qualifying started here in just a moment, but let's meet the teams that will be racing tonight.
All right. Well, looking at the lineup, race 3 here in round 3. Looking at SXRL here tonight. It's going to be led by Sebby 12RN in the 73, 00 of Super NASCAR Fan, the 5 of Eat Dirt 94. 7's going to belong to Brodozer 1588 with the 8 of Word Burton, the 13 of Lucky Dog 385, the 19 of Relic. 20 is going to be Smokin' Cakes, I believe. 24 in the 24 car is going to be In-Car Racing 64, and in the 48 is going to be Doc Hudson 8818, with the substitutes tonight being Gray Panther 12, in the 3, the 32 of Little Snack, and the 43 of Kid Dynamite 85, or 185, I'm sorry. And Rick, you got the American Ethanol for us?
Starting at the point for American Ethanol in that number 9, highlighted in green, is going to be Alpha York 23. He's going to play team captain tonight, as in previous rounds. Driving the number 2 is going to be X Finessed, King Mathers 4093 in the number 4, NNR Asbel in the 10, A-Bar 13 in the 11 car, Mike Concho in the 12, Mr. Cola in the 14. Driving the number 18 is going to be Krabby Soup, then Fatless Dig in the 38, and finally NNR Trip rounding out the starting lineup for American Ethanol in the 88. Possible substitutes for Ethanol are going to be Honestly You're Bad, Basket, Backseat Bandit, and Crackmaster in the 16, 21, and 34, respectively.
All right, well, we will be getting racing underway here shortly as Mr. Slide Job. Are you guys headed into qualifying here soon? Getting about 2 minutes away.
In.
Okay,
but we do have something special tonight, though.
What is special?
As you've seen in the past 2 races at Super Speedways, we've seen single car qualifying, but the teams this time have actually taken the option of doing tandem qualifying. So for the first time
Ah.
in the tournament, we're going to see pair qualifying. So that should be interesting. You'll see on track tonight.
That is going to be very interesting, as if you'll shoot me, Rick James, and Dohar an invite if he has gotten home, we will head into qualifying here.
We'll do as soon as we get rolling, you get one.
You say you just got home, Dohar?
Oh, I'm home. I'm
Oh,
home.
nice.
I'm ready to go, Atlanta.
Oh, well,
Me and
okay.
Rick, it's gonna be fire on the.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, it's fire on the racetrack, and I can't wait. You know, it's for American Ethanol. You're going up against, you know, arguably probably the #1 team right now. You're feeling like the underdog, but if you look at both rosters, they're absolutely stacked. For me, if I'm American Ethanol, who leads the charge? You know who the leader of SXRL is. Everybody's going to be latched onto the bumper of that 13. They're never gonna want to leave it. They're always going to be there. Warburton's going to be right there and will not leave his running mate. So who on American Ethanol is going to lead the charge so that way they can take down that dynamic duo, Lucky Dog and Warburton?
Yeah, very strong drivers right there. We have a lot of strong drivers racing here tonight, and I think that's going to make for a very fantastic race, and I think we're going to see a lot of battling going on here at Talladega. Mr. Slide Job, I believe, will be ready to go here.
Sorry about that. Needed wait a second. I guess they're getting something in order.
Lingering Fart 69. Thank you for following. Wow, wow, wow.
I don't know what to say after that. That's too good of a name to say anything afterwards.
I know. It's almost just.
I must say, we got Pick'em. You guys know we got Pick'em in the Discord. Everybody's making their picks. I don't think any of us did it, so I guess we can give our picks. Rick, I'll start with you. Who do you think wins the race, and is that driver going to be on the same team that ends up winning the whole shebang tonight?
I am going to say it's anybody's guess solely because we were at the Talladega Super Speedway. If I had to bet on, I definitely bet on the 8 of Ward Burton in the SXRL. I've seen that guy race recently in local leagues and leagues not his own. He's really been putting in a lot of work on these super speedway tracks and all sorts of disciplines, and I would say he's one of the ones to watch out for.
Well,
what about you, Atlanta?
The thing is I know a couple of these guys from the other league. Let me turn this voice overlay off really quick. I know a couple of guys from the other league, but the SXRL league has a lot more drivers in it that I've befriended in NASCAR, so I'm going to be looking at Ward Burton again, like Rick James said. I've seen him race a lot, I've seen him win a lot, but you also got Lucky Dog out there, who is your NASCAR Heat Pro League 2 champion, so it's going to be interesting here tonight. I don't know. NR's Bill is also very good. I saw him race and I believe win that race, so if you get all these good drivers in here, it gets a little harder to figure out who's going to be the winner, whereas sometimes you just have complete blowouts like we've seen with maybe East Spark.
Well, this one's going to be really tough because you're going to have, you basically have probably 2 of the better drivers in the tournament with Lucky Dog, and then NR Asbill, the only driver to get max points in both races that he's raced in. So you've got basically the 2 titans coming together here in this series to duke it out. You're really getting kind of what most of us, I think, would think is maybe a semifinals matchup between these 2 teams. I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be really close. You might be talking about this matchup being separated by just 10 points when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I could definitely see that occurring here tonight at Talladega, as these drivers, as Mr. Slide Job said, going to be qualifying here tonight tandem. So they're going to be going 2 and 2, I believe, 1 from one team, 1 from the other, and so on and so forth until they are all qualifying. It's going to make qualifying a little bit faster, but definitely a lot more interesting. Rick James, how do you feel about this qualifying event here tonight?
Certainly a different way that we've done qualifying in previous attempts. I'm excited to see how these drivers are going to use the tandem to their advantage, but it's also going to be a telltale sign to which drivers are going to draft best throughout tonight's race.
Yep, I couldn't agree more, as I believe they are just taking this first lap around, and then they will be underway here and getting ready to pick. I guess they went into lobbies before this race and figured out who was going to be with who during this tandem style qualifying.
That would take a lot of dedication. I don't know that I would have that patience. I would just say, you know what, I want to go with this guy. You go with this guy. You go with this guy. That's what I would do. I wanted to do it for ours, but we had an uneven number. We had 9 versus 9, so us and OMA, we couldn't figure out a good way to do that and not leave out the other guys, you know, the solo guys. So, but I'm really interested to see how the pairs work. You know, again, I'm expecting that 8 and that 13 to be in lockstep. And I'm gonna fully expect them to take the front row here. I think that they're gonna get that done, and really the name of the game is whoever starts out front is gonna control probably the better part of stage 1 in this race. So it's really imperative actually to start on the pole, and then if you get a teammate starting in third, you kind of got a match made in heaven right there at the beginning of the race.
Yep. I'm gonna have to get that teamwork going as they are headed up here to the start line. Not the start-finish line, but the start line for qualifying, and we're going to be seeing the first couple of drivers coming out. Let's go see and check out who they are currently running. Got to shuffle through everybody. Fatless Dig is going to be that first car. Running in the 38. He's got the 2, I believe, right behind. Very interesting.
Actually, I see the first pair for SXRL is going to be the 8 of Ward Burton and the 5 of Eat Dirt, so I was already mistaken on a partnership pairing. So we'll see how that shakes out. Lucky Dog and the 13 is going to be paired up with NCAR, and right now they're trying to get formed up. The best pair so far has been that first pair that left. They've been the ones that have been in lockstep the best here. You also got the 12 and the 14, but I'll be looking for Fatless and the 2 of Asbill to maybe squeak out a good starting position, because they've been nose to tail since they left from Slide Job's command post.
So far, the smoothest tandem I've seen has been the 12 of Honcho and the 14 of Cola. They just crossed that start-finish line, and you can see that they're in that middle lane just trying to gain as much speed as possible into the corner. But the 14 of Cola, not right up against the bumper of Honcho through the corners. You see he waits right up until the exit of 2 to get a great bump draft down the straight. Timing like that could make the difference.
Definitely could, as I am on board right now currently with Mr. Cola, and you can see just the speed that the 14 and the 12 currently have as they come out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway, and they're definitely going to have a time to compete against here today at Talladega. Well, there goes those 2. Honestly, you're bad right there as well. Still headed around the track, and it looks like we're going to have 2 other drivers now coming out. It's King Mathers, 4093, running in the 4 car.
Oh, we almost had a stack of the 13 and the 24 kept going. But luckily they stopped on the backstretch. I know Slide Job's not going to be happy. That might be a EOL for those 2, because they went beyond the designated zone that they were supposed to for stoppage. So that'll be interesting to see, because that's 2 big hitters for SXRL. Not following the rules there, but it does come down to it like that sometimes. It's the 7 of Brodozer and the 43 of Kid Dynamite getting ready to cross start finish. I think this is our first time seeing Kid on the racetrack. We're used to seeing him up in the booth with us, so it's going to be good to see him out on the racetrack, see what he can do as they get ready to head through 1 and 2. You looking at another pair here, Rick?
Doc Hudson in the 48 and Thrills in the 19 coming around turn 3 and 4. I'm looking at the 19 of Thrills, and he's not holding the smoothest line I've ever seen to the corner, and he's wiggling out of the 4th corner. You can see Doc Hudson's catching up with more than just the draft. So I'm not expecting the 19 and the 48 to be taking the pole. However, crazier things have happened. One thing I will tell you, Dohar, is it's going to be a long race. Obviously not the full 188 laps, but still well over 90 laps of competition to complete. These drivers are going to have to be patient and find out who's the best draft partner. They may need to play the field and go around once or twice to see who they work best with.
Well, I agree. It's going to be, you're figuring out your dancing partner here, but at the end of the day, you know which cars are on your team and which cars aren't. And, you know, if you got 2 guys in front of you, one in the high, one in low, and one's on your team, one's not, it's pretty obvious which one they're going with. But we'll see. You know, everybody's got their preferred partner. You know, everybody's got that guy that they've run with for months, maybe even years, and you just work together and you kind of work as one unit. So that's what it's going to come down to. When I look at the SXRL roster, there's a lot of cohesion, guys that have run together a lot in other leagues. But when I look at American Ethanol, there's that and then some. These are guys that run in other leagues with each other the entire time. You know, they pretty much race in their own group amongst 3 or 4 different leagues. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I think this is the perfect pairing to put these 2 teams at, really. I mean, they've got talented drivers. You'd love to see them at a short track or even a mile and a half, but seeing them at a super speedway gives us a different mindset for them. It's not going to show the best driver, but again, this tournament has never been about that. It's going to show the best teamwork and the best league teamwork to get the job done.
You are exactly right. Well, looks like Mr. Slyjob is going to be finishing up those final few laps here at Talladega, and then we will be headed to that green flag.
This is Mr. Slyjob in the Fast Family racing car today. How would you like a lap around Talladega?
Let's get it, bud.
I need to drink my pop. Go for it.
Alright, well here we are in the Valvoline Radiating Machine, and right where we are right now is where you're going to see most drivers tonight. They're going to be pressed against this yellow line, the favorite of all drivers at Talladega, the fastest track in NASCAR with a restrictor plate, 2.66 miles. Wide open all the way around. You're only going to see letting off the throttle for fuel saving in the draft or checking up for cars in front of you. But mainly, especially if you're the leader in the pack, you're going to be wide open. We're taking you through the bottom lane. This next lap will take you to the opposite end of the spectrum, because as you can see at Talladega, there's 3 to 4 lanes depending on where you are on track. But here we are. This high lane is probably the scariest, but can be the most effective line to get something going. Especially, we're going to see drivers towards the end of a stage or the race make use of this outside line, getting a bigger run than the guys on the bottom. The problem is, you know, sometimes, you know, you can use the side draft and get a run killed, but if you can separate yourself like Talladega as opposed to Daytona, you see that middle line, you know, their side draft won't come into play for the bottom lane trying to slow you down. So you could definitely get a big run up here. The other interesting consideration is this is actually much longer of a way around, so there is that as far as fuel is concerned. And then this last lap, we're going to take you down the middle. Now this is, you know, not where you're going to typically see many drivers, just because this is, you know, a lot of times what they call the sucker hole. If you get in between 2 lanes of traffic, the air is crazy, the cars wiggling here and there could put you into a rubber band situation. So, you know, this is probably one of those lines that you're not going to see until it gets really crazy at the end of a stage or the race, but it is here. So unlike Daytona, we actually have 3 very large lines, and interestingly enough, as we come down here, there's actually 4 lanes coming into the tri-oval here. So a lot of space, a lot of room, much more racy than as we've seen at Daytona. A lot of space for these drivers to make moves and manipulate the draft. So, but that is a trip around the longest racetrack in NASCAR.
Well, while he's not in the best looking 88 car in the video game, we do appreciate that lap around to show us the different lines here. And one thing we haven't talked about yet, Rick, in Atlanta, is one of my favorite things to talk about in racing: managing and mitigating mistakes. It's going to happen. There might be some lag out on the speedway. There might be a speeding penalty. You might get off a pit road incorrectly and get a black flag. How do you manage and prevent these mistakes that are going to hurt not only yourself and your own personal performance, but the performance of that in your team? You know, if you don't check up when the line checks up in front of you and you end up ramming somebody, getting aggressive, or hitting the wall and losing the draft, how does that affect your team? Because if it gets down to 9 drivers from one team in the draft and 10 versus the other, 10's going to win every time. It doesn't matter. So you really got to manage your mistakes and manage yourself on the racetrack, so that way you're not putting your team at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definitely going to have to focus on communication and, you know, making sure you're not making silly mistakes or you're blocking an outside line when you're going slower than everybody else or something like that, like Tyler Reddick did. So you just want to make sure keeping it safe. And, you know, a lot of these drivers, they're too aggressive at the start, and it ends up costing them because they want to get in first at the beginning when they couldn't wait a couple of laps, get some teammates, and just pass on the outside. So communication is key, and teamwork definitely going to be something you want to work with here tonight.
Just another quick note too, the 24 and the 13 did not pass pre-race inspection, so they will be starting from the rear today.
Okay, there you go. Well, Slide Job wrapping things up here around Talladega. And as soon as is this your last lap?
Yep, we are currently 25 seconds away from loading into the race lobby.
All right, well, this race is coming to fruition. Let me go ahead and back out. And do you know who's going to be sending us an invite there, Slidey?
It should be me.
All righty.
I'll send you an invite before we get loaded in, and I'll let you know when to join.
Sounds good.
You excited, Rick? You're really quiet.
Saving my energy. It's going to be it's going to take a lot to stay focused on all these 20 cars, and there's going to be so much action happening. I'm just going to sit back and soak it all in.
And the fans at home should be too, because as we mentioned, there's a doubleheader today. So we have a whole nother race tonight.
Oh yeah, some of us got double headers for our own league, and some of us got double headers for the Showdown. So it's sure to be a fun night of super speedway and racing and fun action. Can't wait to get it on and get it done, as it looks like A-Bar is going to be on the pole with Alpha York in second. So that tandem, I don't think we even talked about him, Atlanta or Rick. So that tandem from American Ethanol getting the job done, as well as the 4 of King Mather. He's going to start P3, and NNR Trip is going to start P4. So give the top 4 spots in starting to American Ethanol.
Well, great job for that league. It's always going to be nice when you have top 4 guys running together as teammates. So Mr. Slide Job said we will be loading in here soon. Rick James saving his energy for the stream, and Dohar drinking a pop. We'll be in here shortly.
And just a note to those of you watching at home, if you're a little confused, there may be 2 names on here you don't recognize. You'll see a guy named Roy Air. That is actually driver Eat Dirt 94, just switching his gamer tag around. And then we also have another driver here. His new gamer tag is going to be Thrills. He was, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Relic, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that,
Relic.
but Relic. There we go. So you'll see 2 new names, but same drivers. Just paying attention to that.
Yeah, the driver in the 5 always changes his gamer tag at least once a week, so don't ever get emotionally attached to his gamer tags. He's always going to change it.
Commentator, I'm gonna get you an invite here. Don't join it yet, but we'll just
Okay.
have it.
The sun has blazed my shoulders, just hanging my shadow from the vagaries of my past. It's a story.
I'm getting antsy, boys.
I'm getting
Can't
antsy
wait.
too. Come on, Slide Job,
Go.
hurry up.
Let's go.
To anyone who's seen and done the same.
I think they're doing a recap of qualifying Atlanta, so that's what we're waiting on.
Gotcha, no worries.
They had a guy back out.
Huh.
Well, I'm just getting everybody collected and getting ready for this race. A couple of drivers, unfortunately, experiencing that lag we have all seen throughout the couple of weeks here on NASCAR Heat 5. So just stick with us and we'll be underway shortly.
The guy that disconnected, it can't sub back in, and Snack is subbing in now. Snack is in the field.
Okay. Did you say we're going to go slidey? I couldn't hear you.
Fryer hop.
Well, that was an update from Race Control. If you heard, one of the drivers has lagged out of the event.
I'm
So,
getting
little snack.
audio weird on my mic end.
Yeah, you're getting echo on your.
Yeah, it's going weird.
Like I hear your soft rock in the background. All right, ladies and gentlemen, pardon those technical difficulties as we work through that, but oh, that's still not better, but we'll power through it. I still hear myself, but it's okay. But if you guys didn't hear Friday, one of the officials of tonight's event, one of the drivers on SXRL lagged out, so they'll be bringing in Little Snack off the bench to fill in for that driver. I don't know which driver it is that he's filling in for, but he's filling in for him, so.
Any better than Dohar?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I dropped my controller the other day and it might have messed it up. I don't know, but I think that might be the culprit.
Might need to take that controller down pit road and.
Yeah, I've got a warranty.
And join, guys.
Something. All right, it's race time.
Racing time. Yep, Talladega Super Speedway. Rick James, how you feeling here tonight? 94 laps.
I'm ready to go, Atlanta. I'm ready to go. Dohart, 94 laps, around 2.67 miles of that sweet home Alabama high-speed racing. Win or go home. The format is the same. The challenge, always an obstacle. I think patience and perseverance are going to be the key factors in winning today's event.
Yep, I think you're right. You know, patience is virtue, so got to make sure that these drivers are, you know, set in mind and staying focused, like you said, James, is getting ready for this race and not letting anything else get in the way other than driving with your buddies here tonight and just having some fun, looking to progress here in the Fast Family Racing Showdown Series as we are about to take that green flag.
Here we go. They're
Yep.
getting ready to go through that trial. Well, let's go. Boogity, woogity, woogity, let's go. Racing, boys. 20 cars at Talladega. Which team comes out on top? We'll find out in about 94 laps there, Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Well, it looks like the 11 and the 9 car are going to be starting off side by side as we head into turn 1. A couple of drivers doing a little slicing and dicing towards the back as that draft is a little bit harder to control as you're getting up to speed here on the back straightaway. One lonely driver at the back looking like he might have missed a restart or not missed a restart, I'm sorry, missed the start or something. So he is going to be falling far behind, but that bottom line is building up.
That's our boy Repeat. I think he might be the pace car.
Okay, okay, I didn't know. I was just making sure. I couldn't tell if he was just, okay, make sure.
I didn't know either. I was a little confused myself. But hey, Repeat's out on the racetrack. We love to see it.
After that first lap, Atlanta, the 11 of A-Bar leading this one. Top 7 currently sitting with the American Ethanol team right now. So they broke out to an early lead. There you see Skills in the 19 sitting in 8th place. That's your highest ranked driver for SXRL.
Well, so far so good. We're seeing that huge single file line that's so famous here at Talladega. We're going to probably see some crazy speeds for some of these drivers as I'm going to go try to get on board real quick with the number 9 who has been shuffled all the way back to the back of the pack, sticking to the outside, just now clearing up on the bottom as he's going to take the draft of the 24, and now he is at the back of the pack, unfortunately, for that 9.
But it's not going to be too worse for Ware. He's going to be able to get back up to the pack. He's got his buddy with him in the 88. That's NNR Trip. He's also going to have the 38 of Fatless Dig back there, as well as the 00 Super NASCAR fan falling to the back. 73 falling back as well. You wonder if some field strategy coming into play. Not sure who's in the 73. Don't have a driver associated with that number. Oh, that's Sebby. I am so sorry. It's at the very top of the list. Either way, we got a little bit of strategy formulating. The 00 has now lost the pack, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So one SXRL driver down off the pack, and they're going to try and gather him up. But right now, it's still an early dominating lead for American Ethanol. They hold the top 5 spots at this current moment.
Dohar, the number 12 of Mike Honcho, was perfectly in line on the bottom side, but he's now been kicked up and shoved out of the way there. It looks like one more driver's come down. That I believe that's our pace car that's coming out of pit road there, but so far this single file train continues on the inside with American Ethanol holding 6 out of the top 7 spots. That 12 of Mike Honcho has been relegated all the way to the back of this field, now drafting with the 88 of NNR Trip.
Now this is when patience and communication, like I talked about, is definitely going to come into play. You're going to want to make sure you're pitting with these guys so you can get all that pack back together, and you're going to want to make sure that you're not taking any unnecessary moves. You've got your teammates all up there at the top. There's no reason to pass them here in stage 1 unless you have some kind of crazy move that you can take that, you know, you're just trying to get out of the way. But just sitting back and letting everybody catch that draft and get your teammates going, that's what it's all about here today at Talladega.
Absolutely, Atlanta. It's now 25 laps to go in this first stage. Now riding along with the number 2 of Finesse. He's moving at a good clip, well over 200 miles an hour, coming out of turn number 3. 201, 202, 3, 4, 5, 6, 207 miles an hour into that third corner. Atlanta, you called it. The speeds are insane. The control is even crazier that these drivers can manage to stay in a straight line when the speedo reads 207. 5 laps underway, and it seems like the dominance up front is going to be controlled by the single file train.
19 cars in the pack, 1 car all by himself. It's the 00 Super NASCAR fan has lost the pack. So mark it as 10 drivers for American Ethanol in the lead pack, 9 for SXRL. As it looks to be, guys, as a driver, I see what's happening. Lots of gaps between different cars. Pit strategy starting to take place. I got some guys swinging in the back of the pack that might be taking pit stops, but everybody's leaving a healthy gap to the car in front of them. 9 times out of 10, that means fuel saving.
Well, Dohar, first race I think I ever
Everybody's
did
pitting.
that. Oh yeah, here we go. First race I ever did announce that you were racing in. You were at the back of the pack saving fuel the entire time, and then you won the race. So, I mean, that's just something that some of these drivers will do. They'll sit back and enjoy it, but they are all pretty much headed down into pits right now. Let's go check and see if anybody stayed out. And yeah,
That was all
of
American
Thrills.
Ethanol drivers that
Wow.
pitted right there. That was a very interesting
Wow.
maneuver. But one, I wanted to practice myself with my team. I felt like if one driver for the other team had lost the draft, that doing this strategy was going to be the best, especially if we thought fuel was going to come into play, which at Daytona it could not. It's harder to save the less cars you have. The more cars you have, the easier it is to get pulled around. So now, maybe with those American Ethanol guys, some going to the front of the pack, some going to the back of the pack, they basically were spying on what SXRL was doing. They saw the gaps and said, you know what, it's time to go out there and let's pit so that way they cannot save fuel.
What a strategy right there. Let's go take a look at some of the American Ethanol members. And they're all getting caught back up to speed.
The number 7 of Brodozer remains the only car on the outside, Atlanta. I don't know if they're doing a sort of a track run where the driver in front will relinquish the position so everybody else can catch up. But so far, since SXRL pitted twice now, the American Ethanol drivers have, and I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Since American Ethanol pitted twice now, the SXRL drivers have swapped positions out there on the track. You see the number 4 of King Mathers, who's sitting on the high side. He's the one American Ethanol driver that was left out to dry. He's now about to lose a lap, with the leader right now being the 43, being driven by Kid Dynamite.
Yep, Kid Dynamite coming up on the 4 to the top side on the back straightaway. On board with him right now. As we look back, you can just see how far that single file line really goes, as there goes the 4 car. And we're racing on the bottom here at Talladega out of turn 4.
Yeah, they're getting around that lap car very slowly, and you can tell they have reduced their pace because they're saving. And what they're doing, Rick in Atlanta, is the leader of the race, or maybe even the guy in second, is basically taking his turn at fuel saving, or running hard, excuse me, and then going to the back so he can save fuel and kind of match up with the team. When you're in the back of the pack, you're naturally going to be off the throttle more, which means the more off the throttle time you have, the more fuel you're saving, the less you're consuming. So if you're Kid Dynamite now, it's getting ready for that time where he's going to swap and let the the 5 behind him take the lead, and basically then it's going to be his turn to save and the 5's turn to lead SXRL around the racetrack.
Oh, a little lag spike it looked like between those cars, but all good as Kid Dynamite hits the apron just a little bit. And very interesting strategy, a very smart strategy here at Talladega. As Rick James said, the 43 still leading this race as we cross the start-finish line, headed into turn 1.
Another important thing to note, guys, SXRL has lost the 73 car as well, so they are down to only 8 cars in this lead pack. Well, 9 cars technically now because the 4 car, as the lap car, has joined them from American Ethanol. But if you're the 4, you're basically just trying not to help this pack, because the more help you give them, the closer they come to lapping your brethren, or saving fuel. So really, you're kind of in a tight spot here. You got to hope that the rest of American Ethanol can get gathered up here, which they still aren't. It's a pack of 3 and then a pack of 4. Maybe conjoined as a pack of 7, they might be able to catch the lead pack. But that's going to be the question. We're basically going to be seeing what we saw in Daytona in real life in Stage 2. Can the team that stays out and feels safe stay in front of the team that pitted? That's what it's coming down to.
Well, Dohar, now it's 18 laps to go as they cross the line, and a couple of drivers are all by their lonesome with no one to draft with, and it seems those are the drivers that this American Ethanol train is destined to catch. You see the 24 being driven by NCAR Racing, and then the 5 of Roy nose to tail. They're heading this pack here, and these are all SXRL drivers that either need to go as far as they can or call American Ethanol's bluff and pit right now. But the longer they wait, the higher chance they have of getting burned by the decision if it all goes belly up. The magic is that we're only 11 laps into this race, now completing lap 12, so we'll see how this plays out with 17 laps to go in the stage.
They're definitely catching that lead pack, guys, but this is the thing. Now we're going to have to really see how both of these groups can stay together. It looks like by my calculations, as the 5 hits the apron there and is kind of slowing up a little bit, it looks like the SXRL pack is really having to save. Now they have to compensate for basically having half the cars in the draft that they were expecting. It's going to change your throttle inputs. You're going to have to reduce your speed. I believe the American Ethanol guys are catching about a half a second a lap. While they won't get there this time round, by the time SXRL makes their first pit stop and American Ethanol makes their second, and probably with about 5 to go, I'm guessing that American Ethanol group is going to catch SXRL and try to get the stage victory here.
Well, laps winding down pretty fast here at Talladega. 5 car currently of Roy Air going to be in the lead.
Atlanta, you can see the gap that they're creating between Roy Air and the number 24 being driven by NCAR Racing. Certainly fuel saving going on, but that's going to be a move that drivers will employ when they need to make a pass, when they need to use the slingshot to get around one car. What I'm excited for is when that moment comes. It's going to be a numbers game. If there's more cars in the outside lane than the inside lane, you will see the outside lane travel faster. But it takes a lot of organization. It will be a team effort to make that outside pass.
I'm a little bit perplexed by this strategy, guys. If you're SXRL, I just don't know if you can pull this off with having half the cars in the pack than you expected. It's one thing to run, nose to tail as a team behind another team of guys, but when you've got to now start exchanging with each other to basically ensure your fuel saving numbers, that's when it gets tough. Because look at these guys in the back. They're a quarter to off the throttle completely. The 5 is out of gas. He's on the apron, so now they lost a guy. The 43's out of gas. Look at this, guys, on the back straightaway. You got 2 cars out of gas. The 8 car is losing them. This is the trouble with doing this strategy. It might come out and be worth it. Maybe you cut out that pit stop, but at what cost? I really think you messed up here. Now you've taken your team, which was already down from 10 to 8. Now it's down to 6 because you lost 2 other guys. So this is going to be really tough. And you got to fuel save in the second half. You got to fuel save in the second half of this run now. So it's going to be really tough.
There was no choice. The second that American Ethanol came down and made that early pit stop, SXRL had to stick to their distance plan. And as you said, they got bit. They got burned. So they're going to have to stick to the plan for the remainder of Stage 1 and hope that favor shines upon them in Stage 2. Any deviance from their pit strategy now will only lead to a deeper hole.
Well, this is what I'm concerned about, guys. If we're watching this pack that the 11 is leading, you see that car all the way up in the distance there? That's the 4 car. That is the lap car from American Ethanol that was in that lead pack. That's how much they closed the gap, and that was just in one run. So if you look at it that way, you know, they're getting ready to actually lap SXRL right here. So there's your delta. You know, if you're American Ethanol, you could take 2 tires and you could still come away, I think. SXRL's in a tough spot. They lost a ton of time by trying that strategy, and they still have to execute the back half of that strategy.
Atlanta, it's now 13 laps to go. The 11 of A-Bar leading this one with the number 10 of Asbel in tow. So far, it looks like American Ethanol has this one by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, it's like Dohar said, it's been a really interesting race so far, especially just being the first stage. As the 11 cars crossing the start-finish line, we definitely did see that long haul strategy not really favor them. You know, running just a little bit too hard and not really saving your fuel as much as you could can definitely make that happen, and I think that's what we saw here in the last couple of laps. But as stage 1 winds down, you know, we're going to be seeing this lead pack make their way around the track, and I don't know if the other guys are going to have any kind of time to catch up.
It's going to be really tough. The SXRL guys took about a lap to a lap and a half to get formulated. Atlanta, your mic is echoing bad again. As they're getting ready to pit now, they're getting ready to come down, hopefully getting load up in time. Oh, and the Fatless Dig hit the 11 there, and that definitely gave him a speeding penalty. So that's going to hurt. But, I mean, they were about a lap down, and they took 2 tires, and they still got to save. And they're down to 6 cars. It's going to be really tough. But, I mean, right now we're seeing a bunch of mistakes from the different sides of it. You know, if the 8 got a speeding, or if the 11 got a speeding penalty there from the 38 hitting him, that's really going to hurt this team because they're going to have 1 less car in their fast pack to really be able to run down the guys. And yep, the 11 is staying in pit road, so he got a speeding penalty as a result of the 38. So now it's going to be really tough. They're down a car, and there's your battle for the lead as they come right by. That's how close the delta is right now. So, you know, everybody's pitted. They've made their pit stop. But the guys who are passing at full speed on the racetrack still have to save fuel. And look at the gap that they're leaving. If this American Ethanol group gets together, gets formulated, get around that pack. Get to the lead, because they still have to save. They can't go hard. They can't go full throttle. Take control of this race now and at least get the first stage under wraps and get yourself a stage victory here. That's going to be your best bet. And they came out in perfect harmony. 6 cars came out perfectly, nose to tail. They should be able to run this group down in about 6 laps or so, guys, is going to be my estimate. And then from there, they should be able to pop it to the high side and really take command of this stage.
Trying to switch between cars really quick. Well, never mind.
If I'm American Ethanol right now, I'm telling the 4, get out of this pack. Get out of the lead pack. You're helping them. You're hurting us. Back off. Be basically a catapult for us. Because at this point, all you're doing is helping them save fuel and helping them have an extra car for speed. You know, that's got to come up. You know, and that's a thing too in these races. When you're a team leader, you got to have that strategic mindset. You've got to know where all 9 of your other guys are at all times. And you basically have to create this like a war zone. You have to say, you know what, we can't go out there and help them. I know you want to get your lap back, but right now you're hurting our team. We need you with us. As he's doing that right now, he's letting the 13 by. I think he's getting the hint. And that should help that other group basically catapult up here. Now the 73 about to go a lap down though is going to help SXRL because that's one of their guys, and he's going to stay out front and basically lead this pack. His stage is over. He's got nothing to gain here. The rest of the pack needs fuel saving, so now they've got an extra buddy to help them out by him going a lap down. The 4 just needs to continue doing what he's doing here, break the air with the back of the pack, and then once his buddies get up to him, help him get to the outside and take command.
Dohar, the 73, is being scored as the leader of this race right now with all his teammates right behind him. The 24 of NCAR Racing there in second place, being followed by the 7 of Brodozer. Behind him is going to be the 19 of Skills. And then 5th in line, it looks like it's going to be the 8 car being piloted by Ward Burton. So obviously those top 5 and the rest of the pack, they're all SXRL drivers, and right behind them, here comes the American Ethanol Cavalry. We're going to have a shootout right before the end of this stage.
Yep, 73 leading this pack around. And with teammates behind him, I mean, there's really no point to pass. Just let Sebby do his thing and get on by with stage 1. There looks like a little bit of damage on that second place driver, so.
Here comes the move, though, Atlanta. Here comes the move coming out of turn 4. American Ethanol going to go to the high side. The 13's going to try and suicide block. Is not going to be able to make it work. That was a little bit of an interesting maneuver, but they're going to commit to the high side, basically up against the wall. It did discombobulate them a little bit because they weren't expecting a driver to just arbitrarily go up there. But now they're already up to P2. Look at that, and those are guys that are all good on fuel. They can go max power. The guys on the bottom cannot because they have not saved enough fuel. They still need to save. So right now they have less cars, but they're able to get the run because they've got the power down. If I'm the 4, go with them. Ditch the 13 right here. Take them 3 wide. Tell them go in the middle. But they're going to get to the lead here, and once that whole line is clear, once the 14 clears, they're going to park it on the bottom, and they're going to command the rest of the stage.
Wow, what a move right there. 10 car, I believe. Now going to be in the lead. And didn't I call that earlier? NNR's Bill. Great driver right there.
Now 6 laps to go, Atlanta. That's Asbel in the 10, leading this race with the 9 of Al York right behind him. 3rd place going to the 38 of Fatless Dig, the number 12 of Mike Honcho sitting in 4th. Behind Mike Honcho, rounding out the top 5, is the 16 of Honestly. And there goes American Ethanol, that train with no regard for that low line, dominating the outside and soaring into the lead with what will be 5 laps to go this time by.
It seems like arbitrary science, but this is a calculated maneuver by American Ethanol. Make them run the high side now. They have to save gas. If you make them run the high side, they've got to use more gas because they've got to be in the throttle longer to keep up. This is a fantastic move by American Ethanol to really put the foot on the throat in stage 1 and really take command. And now they've got their buddy in the 4 who is a lap down, only 3 cars behind them. If he's able to basically get the 24, the 7, and the 19 out of line, they're going to be fine. They're going to have a safer barrier as the 19 drops low. This is perfect strategy by American Ethanol in stage number 1.
Man, oh man, laps winding down here. Only a few left in stage 1. NNR's Bill, your current leader, as we head out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. 9 and 10 going to be your top 2 with, I believe, I can't even see on the screen yet. I believe that is the 38 going to be in 3rd.
Pete, the number 10 of NNR Asbel, continues to lead this race. Now 4 laps to go. 10, 9, 38, your top 3. They continue to run that high side, knowing they're good on fuel. This first stage, barring any catastrophe, will go to American Ethanol, and now the ball sits in SXRL's court. How do they act after being taken literally swashbuckled on the high side by a gang of drivers that just out-strategize them? Stage 2 is going to be wild.
Oh yeah.
Atlanta, your mic is lagging, and I'm hearing my voice again, but I don't mind because this is some strategy that's being executed. Your XXRL, you're in a box. You got to save fuel basically all the way to the end. You can't afford to go all the way on the throttle. You split the stage in half, and we saw how slow they had to go in the first half of the stage. So if you're the 24, if you're the 7, you can't go. And even if you do try to go, you're not going to have enough help because the 13 is too far behind. And they lost the 73, but now we're getting some discombobulatedness from American Ethanol here up at the front. I think there might have been a slight lag. So now we're starting to see some guys go to the bottom and kind of split this pack up, but they're coming to 2 to go. As the 13's really aggressively trying to get to the top and about putting the 16 in the wall. My God.
Now let's get a look back from NNR's Bill.
Oh, he put the 14 in the wall. Well, he did that at Bristol to get the Pro League championship, so you see it here.
10:38.9 out of that second corner. American Ethanol leading this one. Atlanta, they're going to come to the white flag, and they're about to swallow Sebby whole, but we'll see if they just put him at the front to avoid him going another lap down.
Yeah, it's an interesting race.
Is this the end of the
Funny
stage, or are they coming to the white now?
I think they're
White
coming
flag.
to the white flag right now.
I'm trying to figure out what the 9's doing.
White flag's in the air, and it looks like the 9 is creating a gap. They're going to shuffle here for position, but we'll see if anybody wants to race for position coming to this checkered flag. The 10 of Asbel leading. He's got that 38 tucked in right behind him. These two shuffling and jostling for position down this backstretch, but Atlanta, as they come to the green and white checkered, it looks like everybody is content where they are.
Yeah, you know, it's stage 1. You don't want to do anything and mess it up. Just, you know, at the end of this stage where you can't really make too much else work. As we see the pack passes 73. And they are headed to that start-finish line. And it looks like NNR as Bill is going to be your winner here for stage 1.
What a first stage for American Ethanol, taking the top 6 spots. And they got the 4 car to get the lucky dog over the 73, the 00. So 2 SXRL drivers will be a lap down to start stage 2. And now the pressure is on SXRL.
Well, driver's going to be headed down into pits, getting some fresh tire and fuel, and then we will be restacking here shortly for the beginning of stage 2. Well, here we go, the start of stage 2. Let's go check out and see who is going to come out on top. Oh, I can't even get to him fast.
43 forgot to pit.
Yep, green flag is out. 43 forgot to pit. 38 is going to take the lead.
This is going to be front. It looks like the 12 of Mike Honcho, the 38 of Fatless Dig are going to all tuck in behind. Here comes the 9 of Alpha York for American Ethanol. So it's a mixed top 5. But there goes the 43 of Kid Dynamite for SXRL.
He's out of fuel.
He's out of fuel after not pitting, and it just goes from bad to worse. Not a good start for SXRL in stage 2, Atlanta.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Kid Dynamite sitting there scooting along. He is unfortunately all the way around the track from pits, so he's going to have to deal with that, and they are another man down as the 10 of NNR's Bill. We saw him win stage 1, now in the lead again here for stage 2. Let's see if he can't make something work with his teammates.
We'll have to see how the strategy goes for stage 2, guys, because it's, I believe, 2 laps less than stage 1. If you're American Ethanol, do you just basically try the same thing? Once you get in the window to do 2 stops, do it? And wow, these guys on the outside are just bashing the bottom lane. They're getting really aggressive with the side drafting. It's really unbecoming of a certain driver to do that.
Dohar, I think they're just losing patience with their competition, or they're trying to force their way into that low line. Possibly a little bit of intimidation tactics, trying anything they possibly can do at the beginning of this first stage. 2 laps complete now on lap 3 of 27 in stage 2. 1 second separating first and 10th place. You see the 13 and the 24 of Lucky Dog and NCAR Racing going to the outside. They're trying to force their way back down as they do in turn number 2. Single file front to back all the way, and a couple of drivers no longer curious about that outside lane. It looks like everybody's just content riding on the inside.
Yep, just, you know, it's only the beginning of stage 2. You're gonna have time to do some work on these other guys out here on the track. So just keep it, you know, as much as you can save right here. As Dohar said, 2 less laps. So if we got some communication going on here between teammates, that's something I'd be letting them know and see if we couldn't make something work.
Well, I see a couple problems on the racetrack, guys. I just want to point to everybody else. The 43 is still on pit road. He's been there for a long time. I do believe he is called in a night or maybe stopped on the racetrack because he didn't have enough fuel to get around. But he's in the pits with going nowhere. And another development on the racetrack is we've got a pack of 4 off of the main pack, and it's all SXRL drivers. The 19, the 73, the 00, the 32, all off the main pack. So maybe they're trying the fuel strategy early. I'm not sure, but SXRL, getting down in the nitty-gritty, they've only got 5 drivers up at the main pack.
How about a points update?
Yeah,
Let's get it.
All right, well, we are in the midst, only stage 1, but we're in the midst of maybe an upset. American Ethanol, with the correct strategy, is going to take the lead 45-10 over SXRL right now.
Good for them.
Well, greatly appreciate that points update right there from Mr. Slide Job, as the 38 of Fatless Dig 76-42-4 has entered first place on the back straightaway. And a couple of drivers on that outside line still trying to make something work.
Yeah, the 14 got drop kicked by his teammate there, unfortunately, and had to check up and basically abandon ship there. So hopefully they'll collect him and get him up, because that was just everybody checking up. Not much of his fault. So Mr. Cole going to try to get back to the pack.
Looks like some retaliation right there from the 9.
They're starting to get aggressive here, headed into this first corner. You called the retaliation, Pete. The 9 trying to go up and really shoving the 13 out of line, as the 13 is going to come and get back down in front of the 24. The 9 being driven by Alpha York for Ethanol. The 13 of Lucky Dog and the 24 of NCAR racing for SXRL. Mentioning SXRL, 4 cars at the back that have completely lost this front draft. The 73, the 00, the 32, and the 19 being driven by Sebby, super NASCAR fan, the 32, Lil Snap, and the 19 being driven by Skills. All lost at the back of this lead pack. You could even say they're at the back of this lead pack. 6 laps now complete, 7 laps underway, and 21 laps to go, with pit stops looming, and already SXRL on the back foot. But if there was ever a time to mount a comeback, Atlanta, it would be with this upcoming pit stop, and SXRL can do just that.
Yeah, it would be cool to see, an upset, but it's still anybody's race. It's hard to say with, having a lot of drivers down, but, we could see something happen here at Talladega. You never know. But the 38 still leading this race. Let's take a look back at some of the other drivers. The 10 of NNR's Bill, your stage 1 winner. He is now looking to take second place, as it looks like the leader has taken the high side. And I'm not too sure what he is doing right there.
Oh, the 13 forced the 9 below the yellow. We'll have to see how that goes to race control. And I think that's why the 9 is so upset, because look at the 13, just anybody's below him. He's on their door, he's hitting them. It's, when you're that guy on the bottom, you're just frustrated, because if you're on top and you're by yourself, you're not going to go anywhere. But it's really just frustrating to have a guy bashing your door and trying to get you on the apron and move you up the racetrack. So they're trying right now. I think we might see American Ethanol. I think they're fuel saving because they're going a slower pace. Maybe they feel like this is the stage they could fuel save. I don't know. The way they did it last stage, I would stick to that plan, maybe not deviate from it. But who am I to say? Maybe because they got the lead now, they can just kind of take a little risk in the situation and try what they want. But right now, American Ethanol has about the top 5 spots, 6 spots actually. So they're back to where they ended stage 1.
20 laps left in this second stage. The single file pack at the front being led by the number 12 of Mike Honcho. He's got that number 10 of Asbill.
Oh, the 24 of NCAR just lagged into Ward Burton, and that jacked up the back half of the pack. Sorry, Rick.
You can see that on the inside of turn number 3, right up against that goldenrod line. That goldenrod hurts number 24, Hendrix Camaro, sitting all by his relative lonesome with a big gap in front and behind. And connection issues like that when we're literally touching nose to tail at 206 miles an hour will destroy any momentum. Drivers racing it back and they're still single file, Atlanta. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, talking about lag, I've seen first place drivers before lag into the back into the second and just ricochet, basically accordion effect all the way back to the rest of the drivers and then shoot the first place driver up. So lag is really never your friend, especially at a track like this where it's either going to swerve everybody up at the top and push everybody back, or it's just going to send everybody into the wall.
Another lap ticks down. Mike Honcho in the 12, still leading with the 10 of NNR, giving him a polite shove up the backside. You see the 12 of Mike Honcho.
Oh, the 24 lagged again.
And it looks like Mike Honcho is going to give up the lead. We've got one car in the wall out of the first corner after the 24 lags. Cars flying through the air now, tumbling. The 19 of Skills, the 14's been involved. That's going to be the 8 of Word Burton, who just got flung into the grass, sailing through that Talladega night. Atlanta, I'm not sure what happened there, but this could be a caution.
Yeah, not too sure yet, as 19 is really the only one with any damage, it looks like, from that.
It's definitely going to be a yellow. The 8 got lagged into. Oh my gosh, and the 13 is bashing the 11 below the yellow line. This is, I'm sorry guys, this is just blowing my mind here that somebody could get on the door of somebody so hard. But the 24 lagged, the 8 was low, like on the apron in 1 and 2, and then just something must have happened because he just hooked it right into the racetrack, and then the oncoming pack derailed into him because they had nowhere to go. So some early trouble there for the 24 N car, lagging very badly into Ward Burton. American Ethanol, though, still controlling the first 6 spots. Now it takes field strategy out of the equation. Now they can run hard, and they've got the track position. Plus, they have all 10 drivers still in the race and on the lead lap, where SXRL does not have that. Now, one car will get the lap back here of the 2 that they had a lap down, plus the 43 who is out of the event. So right now, American Ethanol is sitting pretty for stage 2 to wrap this up.
Well, first caution of the night. You knew there was going to be at least one at a super speedway. And we will see these cars restack, head down into pits. 43 right there in the U.S. Air Force car is going to be repeat our pace car for tonight.
Coming down pit road, a lot of these drivers are going to go with a mixed tire strategy, some with 2, some with 4. Everybody's going to agree on a full tank of fuel, but I want to see who takes 2, who takes 4. It's certainly going to jumble up the starting order, and we'll see who's on the high side, who's on the low side. We're going to have right around 15 laps left when we restart this race.
Yeah, man, we're seeing, as Jaron Dohar said, most of everybody headed down into pits, and a big collision. God, man, that's just awful. Every time they go to pits, the cars just smashing each other.
Yeah, the only 2 cars to stay out there were the 00 and the 73. Those were the cars lapped down. The 00 is going to go around, get his lap back, get the lucky dog, and then he'll come into pit road. It'll be interesting to see what the 73 does. I think he got damaged from that accident, so he's going to have to pit. He'll remain a lap down, but should get the lucky dog, pending anybody else going a lap down once stage 2 concludes. Did I lose you guys there?
You might have.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm back.
I got you, Dohar.
I guess. Strategy. Looks like the 13 may have took 2 tires.
Well, taking another lap around the track, and then we will be hopefully headed into that green flag momentarily.
Interesting maneuver there. All of SXRL except for the 13 went back down pit road to top off. Gas probably very much still in the equation here. So now they're getting that extra lap of top off as an opportunity. But the 13 now kind of on his own little island. He is surrounded by American Ethanol competitors. But if I know that driver like I know him on the racetrack, he'll block the hell out of anything that tries to get by. Yep. Do you know how many laps are going to be to go, Rick, when they restart?
We're going to be restarting here on lap 15 of 27, so it's going to be 13 laps to go when we take this green flag, Dohar. The 13 of Lucky Dog leading this one with Asville in the number 10 Smithfield Mustang to his outside. Then, as you mentioned earlier, all the cars behind the 13 are going to be all American Ethanol drivers. It could be strategy. The 13 could be playing the hare, forcing American Ethanol to use resources to chase him down while the rest of SXRL conserves. So now the green flag is up. The drivers are getting up to racing speed. There's 13 laps left in this one, a dozen when they cross the line, and still all these stage points to play for, Atlanta.
Yeah, 13 of Lucky Dog going to be your current leader, with the 9 trailing just behind. These two haven't been getting along, it seemed like, too much during this race, so it's going to be very interesting with them leading the pack, what they end up doing. 10 and 38 trailing just behind. That's going to be your top 4 drivers as we head out of turn 4.
Yeah, right now I think they're just waiting to make sure they're good on fuel. That close on fuel, restarting with 12 laps to go, leads me to believe everybody should be good to the end here. Shouldn't be an issue. I think they get about, at least on a conservative side, 15 to 16 laps on fuel when they're going hard. Now, if you're American Ethanol, you got to wait until you basically see some guys coagulating on the outside lane there. Those are SXRL guys. The 13 is going to pop to the outside right here, basically lead that train around. I don't know what American Ethanol is doing. I don't know why they're not going. They're just going to let them go by, I guess. The 13 is holding them back. That's what's going on.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like Rick James just lagged out, and I hope that doesn't come into play for some of these other drivers. I know in another race, one of the commentators lagged out, and then as soon as that happened, everybody else lagged out. So hopefully that's not what we're about to see, as it seems to get weirder and weirder as the laps wind down. But the 13 of Lucky Dog has lost that lead. Let's go take a look real quick and see who your current leader is. I am Rick James. Welcome back, sir. We thought you lost you for a second. And your leader is going to be the 24 of In-Car Racing. We head to the back straightaway, and that single file line is there more than ever.
In-Car Racing leading this one, and now Roy Air in second. He's got the 7 of Brodozer sitting right behind him. So all of these cars for SXRL in the front of this one, and you can see the gap, which means they're playing the fuel strategy game. It could be a race to 75%. Let's not forget last night's Thursday Night Thunder NAOR race ended at 76%. Due to connection issues, these guys could be racing to what they would perceive almost as the rain delay. So we'll see what kind of strategy they're playing. It's now 10 laps left. They have approximately 10 laps of fuel to go in their cars. So if they can save enough and stay on the inside line, they'll take all these positions, and we have got ourselves a dead heat headed into stage number 3.
Lag right there through the cars. It's making me worried, man.
Yeah, I'm worried too.
For all fans at home that don't know the regulation, the race must reach 2 stages of completion to be called an official race. Otherwise, they will resume the race with 25% race length to simulate one final stage. Who knows what these drivers are racing toward, but right now they need to focus on racing toward the stage 2 win. It's now 9 laps to go. SXRL leading this one with 6 of their drivers in the top 10 and possibly more. It's anybody's race, but if SXRL manages to pull off this stage 2 dominating win, it should be a very close competition, Atlanta.
Man, it's been close competition, I feel like, all night. JPA, appreciate you joining the chat there, sir. But yeah, it's been a very interesting race. I feel like we knew from the get-go it wasn't going to be a normal race that we had seen. 24 pulling up just a little bit, going to let that car by. And there goes the number 5 to the inside, pulling some buddies along.
Well, what they're doing, I'm noticing, is they're basically having the 13 be the bully. He's checking up the American Ethanol guys because he's the last of the SXRL guys. He's checking them up hard and then getting back on the gas. And when he gets back on the gas, he goes high to basically break the draft for the second group. So that way they can't save efficiently. They're not going to have the best draft pool. So what he does is he checks up, speeds back up, goes high, and then right when they're about to pass him, he goes back low, basically reinitiates the process. So right now he's kind of being the bully and choking them back and preventing them from saving fuel or getting a run.
The number 5 of Roy Air still leading this one with the 24 of NCAR Racing behind. Brodozer in the 7 remains in 3rd. 4th place goes to, I believe it's the number 38 car being driven by Fatless Dig, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's the 32 of Lil Snack, forgive me. And then in 5th place, you see that blue and white and black Auto Owners Camry being driven by the 19 of what used to be Relic, now Skills. The 13 of Lucky Dog sitting in 6th place. Laps continue to wind down. The fuel saving continues to be turned up. Dohar, is there going to be enough fuel in the tank for SXRL to pull off the stage 2 win?
I mean, they topped off the gas, so you would think they would. Even one caution lap, it can make a little bit of a difference, but if you're the 5, you've been leading too long. I don't think you're going to be able to, and even if you're the 24, I don't think you're going to be able to as well. I think you're going to see American Ethanol make sure they're good. They're going to time a run, and then they're going to do what they did in stage 1, but they got to time it perfectly like they did there. The 13's going to try and suicide block and misses it. It's not able to do so. Look at them go. There they go. Just those 2. They don't have any help, though. They need some help. But they still cleared him. What a move.
Wow.
Even with a suicide block by the 13 swung out there to make them lose run, and they didn't. What a move by the 9 and the 10. They feel confident they've got enough in the tank, but they don't have any of their friends with them. That's the problem. They had nobody else. So they went up there. If you're those guys, you got to go to the high side. You got to tell your team on the radio, go high on the backstretch coming out of 2. And you got to try and basically make it a high side NAOR or a high side American Ethanol, bottom line SXRL, which it looks like it's about to form. Look at them on the backstretch. Guys, they're going to be doing that exact move right here. Look at it.
They use the slingshot, Dohar. They use that slingshot tactic, and it has shaken their competitors. Now these drivers don't know what to do. They don't know who to block, and they don't know how many cars it'll take. You've got that 5-car American Ethanol train on the outside, but they didn't have the advantage of the slingshot. Meanwhile, at the front, the 10 of Asbel, the 9 of Alpha York for American Ethanol have rocketed away from the rest of their competitors. The laps tick down one at a time, but these 2 cars at the front for American Ethanol have used the slingshot and the tandem to just steal the show. And look at him get right in front of the SXRL guys. American Ethanol still with a chance on the high side, but they're not in single file formation, and that's going to be it for the outside move, Dohar. You see the 16 car getting stuck on the inside and sent to the back. That's honestly who just couldn't make it. And now the 9 of Alpha York sitting on the outside trying to pick up his teammates. So SXRL still leading at the front with the 10 of Asville, and they continue to march on the outside.
Yeah, they're trying to get and mount a run on the outside, but they're getting kind of pushed up the track, and that's what I feared is basically who's going to do that for SXRL, who's going to push the outside lane basically higher than they want to go. Unfortunately, Alpha York just got shuffled out, so that leaves just Asville up front with only a handful of laps remaining. They've got to mount another charge, and they basically have to get Asville to try and lead the outside lane for a split second and then get back down to the bottom so that he can cover it and still maintain the lead. But they're holding tough on the outside because, again, the guys on the bottom are still trying to fuel save. They weren't fuel saving at maximum for the first half of this run, so now they got to try and do it on the back half equally, and these guys for NNR are basically trying to do the exact opposite. So we'll see what happens and what prevails. Right now it's just going to be tough because they didn't get a launch. They basically didn't get a slingshot. They're trying to basically inch their way and nickel and dime their way to the front.
Well, the 10 of NNR.
Big.
Yep.
The 5 is out of line. This is going to be big. What does the 5 do? How bad does the 5 block these guys? And he blocks them right where he was, and the 9 just choked and didn't know where to go. So that's killing the outside run. And, oh, yeah, they didn't like that. You can tell they didn't like that. That was...
Uh-oh. Yeah, a little contact right there, 24. Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 got shoved out of line, too. Man, they're really shoving...
Atlanta, they're getting very argy-bargy. You saw the 5 of Roy Ayer trying to block on the outside. They're coming to the white flag, ATL. It looks like the 24 of NCAR Racing at the point on that inside line with the 7 of Brodozer right behind. 2.67 miles left in the second stage, ATL. Do they hold off their furious competition?
Man, I don't know. I feel like somebody's going to try to pull something here in the last lap. But if 24 can just keep it steady and stay in first, even if there is that crash, he will be your Stage 2 winner. I thought NNR's Bill was going to be able to pull it off, but it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. As drivers on the back straightaway, they are still in that single file line to the bottom side. As they are headed into turn 3, it still looks like 24 is going to be the winner of Stage 2.
Yeah, that was very anticlimactic as
yeah.
They didn't make a move, so I don't really know what American Ethanol was doing, to be honest with you. That was just really weird. They did not make an attempt to try and win the stage, and now you're going to basically enter Stage 3 pretty much back even again, like you did at the beginning of the race. I really question that strategy by American Ethanol, not coming in to top off when you saw the rest of the field basically do it. That cost them the stage, and will probably end up costing them the race.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will find out here shortly as the final stage at Talladega will be underway. Driver's going to be getting that fuel and tires, and then we'll be set to go. Alright, well, the 24 of in-car racing is going to be at the front as we head to that Geico restart zone and get rolling for Stage 3 here at Talladega.
NCAR Racing still at the front of this one. Brodozer on his outside as they circle around the second corner. You can just see how much of a challenge it is for these drivers to stay smooth, getting up to speed while trying to make as much of a small track as possible without getting into the drivers on that inside line. It looks like that inside line is starting to move forward, but now 3 wide through that third corner. Stage 3 already exciting.
Yeah, starting to see some lag on the racetrack. Please, server, for the love of God, stay through to the end. But we're watching these guys now lagging everywhere. Gosh, I really hope that the server can just stay. You don't know if it's guys checking out for their buddies or what, but a lot of back and forth surging. You're just hoping that the server will stay together at this point. Please, please, NASCAR hate gods, let it happen. Don't end this race prematurely as they're getting ready to head down the back straightaway. Right now it's SXRL in command.
Yeah, it's a little odd. It's almost like somebody holding on to the edge of a cliff, and as the race gets longer and longer, they just, you know, lose their grip more and more, because it seems as the laps progress in the race, the worse the servers get. So it's always weird to see that, as you'll see a little bit of lag if you're looking at those cars. Just a little bit, they'll shuffle, or they'll swing to the right or left real quick and come back into line. This is definitely an odd sign.
75% of race completion is going to be 70 1/2 laps. So they're going to be racing for another 5 laps, and then it's an official race to the end. Now on this 65th lap of competition, 30 laps to go at Talladega, and so far it's SXRL still at the front of this one with the 24 of NCAR Racing, the 32 of Lil Snack in second, and in third place the 7 of Brodozer. And Brodozer's been in third for what seems like the last 2.5 stages, but he could have the most important role for SXRL. He could be the wedge, the buffer that keeps drivers from overtaking those top 2 at their leisure. 29 laps to go, Atlanta. So far, SXRL dominating the inside line, but we have pit stops coming in less than 10 laps.
There's so much lag on the racetrack, I can't even tell what's happening, guys. I'm getting anxiety. I'm hanging on to the back of the pack right now, and it's, oof, man, fingers crossed, but we might see some boys lose connection here.
Yeah, let's hope that does not happen as we go on board with the 32 of Little Snack, who is currently sitting in second place. As you just saw that, oh man, so now you guys at home are really going to be able to see that lag as we are on this onboard camera. You saw Little Snack just do that little, what I like to call, and a lot of people like to call, rubber banding, going back and forth like that.
You might be able to come back to the lobby. It might be just a broadcast view. It's not looking too bad on their screen. There is some lag though that we're keeping an eye on, but it might be just the broadcast view. So if you'd like, I can send you a new invite to the lobby.
I'll keep, unless he gets really bad, I'll just stick with it, just because I don't want to lose the race or risk something happening.
There's one just in case.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The 73 of Sebby has retired. There goes the team captain for SXRL, and that makes 2 drivers for SXRL that have now retired. So of their 10 competitors, they're down to 8, most of which find themselves in the top 10. But after we get this Stage 2 points update, we'll see how much further they have to go to capture the win. Now hovering around that 25-lap mark on the 68th lap of competition. They're going to need a nice strategy as they come down to complete 68 and go into lap 69. It'll be 26 to go next time around.
Talking about that points update, I've got it for you,
Commissioner.
So it's getting tight, guys. We were actually surprised by how dominant Ethanol was in that first stage, while SXRL turned it back, scoring 49-6 in the second stage, bringing the total, if you're keeping track at home, 59-51 SXRL right now.
Our total, Commissioner?
59-51 SXRL.
59-51.
I thought American Ethanol got more points in the first stage, but maybe I'm wrong.
They got 45-10.
Ah, all right. Thought it was more. Well, either way, Atlanta, I'm watching them, man. When American Ethanol makes a move to the outside, the 00 and the 8 are just bullying the hell out of them.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of bullying here on the track.
This is getting rough.
Yeah.
These boys getting rough.
Yeah, they really are, man. I mean, laps winding down, 20-odd something laps to go. You think that seems like a lot of time if you're not in the race car, but it will go by in a flash. So this is a time if you want to make something work, or if you've got a strategy you think can maybe win you or your team this race here tonight, you're definitely going to want to put that into play here shortly. And if not, then you might lose your opportunity to come out on top, as 24 still leading this race onto the back straightaway. And luckily, no cars lagging out yet.
They weren't very nice to each other on lap 69, but now they're on lap 70, and it seems like they've calmed down for the moment. The 24 of NCAR Racing still leading, Lil Snack in second, Brodozer in third, albeit some connection lag, but they seem to have sorted that out. It'll be 24 laps to go this time by. Expect to see drivers go to the back, try and find drafting partners with which to line up. With pit stops coming, this will be the money stop, the crucial stop to see how they line up for the run to the checkered.
Yeah, American Ethanol is just way too discombobulated right now. Every time they try to go to the outside, they jack up 4 or 5 cars back and then just get disconnected, so they're just not able to formulate a good enough run. So right now, SXRL, just by circumstance, being in front, is just in command, even with less cars. They've got basically 6 up there leading. So right now it's just going to be really tough for American Ethanol to get organized. They've got to communicate if they want to get this done.
Now 23 laps to go with car 24 leading, and it's been the SXRL show in stage 3 Atlanta. How do you perceive their upcoming pit stop?
You know, I'm not too sure. I'm hoping that we see, them all go down in together. But, I don't know. It's kind of been weird here with, I don't think Sebby would just leave the race like that. So I think he might have lagged out. So if you've got, people, just kind of lagging out like that, and it's in the back of your mind, you might be trying to make it work a little bit longer, or, take the risk, because if it lags out or if they call the race, then you might have a position that you didn't have if you would have gone into pit. But it's just weird with all this lag, and it's just weird, man, because it makes the whole race strategy kind of weird. Like it's just an outside factor you can't control. So I don't know.
No, I agree with you. It's very odd and peculiar, but it is what it is.
Yep.
It's the world we live in, and we just gotta make it happen. But these guys they're basically just trying all they can. But again, if you're American Ethanol and you want to make a run on the outside, that's great, but you gotta formulate it. It's like they all want to fight each other for who wants to lead or be second of that group. They're really just going through a whole lot of much ado about nothing at this point. Right now they don't look like a team. They don't look like the stage 1 team that we saw.
Definitely doesn't.
Now coming around this third corner, and it looks like the leaders have been content to ride around on that inside. But as the laps take down, we now have 21 laps remaining at Talladega. It looks like the pit stops are going to come within the next 3 to 4 laps. But these drivers have a responsibility, not only to themselves, but to their teammates, to save as much possible. I don't believe anybody's going to be able to make it on one stop, but that's certainly not going to stop drivers from trying.
Here comes American Ethanol. They're coming into the pits. They got to get woed up here. And it looks like they did a pretty good job of entering. I didn't see any issues. So if they're able to get in, get the 14 basically reacclimated to the group. He had lost the draft there, but he wasn't too far behind. Now that they're all together, maybe they can just kind of get back in rhythm. And I think that's what they need, is they just need time to get back in rhythm, find their leader, and go. But right now, the pressure's on SXRL, because now they have to enter the pits, and they got to try and better themselves over the other team, but without making each other speed.
They're going to have to call the bluff, Dohar. It's what they needed to do in stage number 1 after American Ethanol came down. And there it is right there. SXRL waited too long in stage 1. They wait no longer in stage 3. But Thrills has gone around. He slammed the outside wall, headed into the tri-oval, and now he's got extensive damage to the front of that auto owner's Camry. It's going to cost him extra time down pit road. And now, with 8 cars remaining in this race, Atlanta, how will they manage?
You're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have, not the patience part now, you're going to have to get that communication with your other teammates and try to just get as much fuel save and time save more is what I was looking for, but just get as much speed as well, because this is your time to shine if you can make it work.
Here they come, SXRL coming off the racetrack, or coming onto the racetrack, and the 19 is going to be way far behind them as American Ethanol is just coming through, about to exit the tri-oval, a little disconnected, but should be able to reformulate. They might actually be able to take the lead here. It depends. Oh, thought I saw something happen. But it looks like they're all still good. They're just forming up now, and they're going to be able to maybe jump out in front and try to take control of this race. They're still going to have the SXRL guys with them in the draft, but they should be able to take the lead here.
Yo, whoa. 8 and 5 doing some moves right there.
Oh yeah, look for a block here.
Side.
Look for a block.
Very, very smooth.
Look for a block, or they're going to try to push him up the track.
Slowly overtaking on that outside line. There goes the American Ethanol train, and I think this has been one of the best illustrations of team versus team racing in this entire tournament. One team on the inside, the other team with fewer cars but higher speed on the outside, and Alpha York and the rest of his Ethanol crew having trouble staying in one straight line. Meanwhile, SXRL content to be smooth on the inside, but they're on a fuel-saving strategy, while American Ethanol has their foot to the floor trying to complete that outside pass. It's taking time, but slowly, American Ethanol starting to chip away at that SXRL lead.
American Ethanol's best friend may be SXRL's proverbial leader in the race. The 24 is lagging, and that is killing the line behind him, and that is allowing American Ethanol to start inching forward car by car. Once that entire line of American Ethanol is clear, expect them to hit the bottom. Oh, and the 00 goes below the apron. What's going on? Now they are just completely out of rhythm. As now they're really going to be in trouble. Now that American Ethanol has to stay disciplined here and try to, basically stay out of the wall. They're hitting the wall, which isn't helpful. But now the back group of American Ethanol got disconnected from the front group, so now that's not working at all.
American Ethanol stays out. It's going to be 16 laps to go, this time by Atlanta. Ethanol making the move on the outside. The ball now again in SXRL's court. Do you pit early now? And you can see there's the move. It's in front of that SXRL train. So now SXRL has to act. Do they continue to fight at the front, or do they come down pit road, Atlanta?
I'm sorry, I was working with my mic. I know that I will probably be buying a new microphone or controller or both tomorrow.
You're going to pit here with maybe when the cycle opens, maybe like 11 to go. Wait, try to take as possible. It's really hard to say right now. Just don't know.
Okay, hopefully that's
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with these guys, I'll tell you what.
How many laps do you know are left for Rick James?
Crossing that line one more time now on lap 80 of 94, and they've got to make the decision sooner rather than later. 15 laps left. You see the 4 of King Mathers sitting there third in line, but right now this race being second in line, this race being led by the 12 of Mike Honcho. King Mathers for American Ethanol right behind him in second, and then it's a slew of SXRL drivers that have yet to make their pit stop. And if it's the same strategy as stage 1 Atlanta, it's going to end in a big upset victory for Ethanol, but anything can happen with 14 laps left.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Anything could happen, but I'm just
Can you hear
hoping...
Atlanta? I can't.
You guys can't hear me?
I can hear him on the broadcast.
Okay, there we go.
Wow.
Okay, I was sorry. I was muting my mic because I was making sure I didn't have any feedback coming through. But the 12 of Mike Concho on the back straightaway, like you said, anybody's race, but I just want to make sure that the reason somebody doesn't win is because somebody decided to hit somebody or block them in a way that they knew would wreck them. So hopefully we're seeing some good sportsmanship here tonight on the track. And as we see at the 12 and the 4, your top 2 drivers, as we cross the start-finish line, only 13 laps left.
Lucky number 13, circulations remaining in Birmingham, Alabama. The 12 of Mike Honcho still leading this one. King Mathers shoving him through the back. And now the SXRL drivers are in full conservation mode. They have to commit all the way to the end of this one. They're going to need a pit stop, but the longer they wait, the more they reach an absolute conclusion with little room for error. So they've got the lead here they've got a lap's lead, and it's going to take a lot more than that to keep this lead. So expect to see some wild blocking to maintain that advantage coming out of pit road. It's a dozen laps left. Dohar 12 car leading the race.
Yeah, everybody's going to have to pit here, Rick. There's really no strategy involved. The only strategy would be if you're SXRL going that extra lap, maybe you're trying to take a can instead of a can and a half when you make your final pit stop, which is the difference of about a second and a half to 2 seconds on the racetrack. So if they as a team are at that point, that's a big deal. But I think it's going to be so close. One lap isn't really going to influence fuel when it comes to this. Right now, if you're American Ethanol, this is about the outcome you could hope for. You've got your guys 1 and 2 right now. That's going to get you the most amount of points you can, as it looks like they're going to head down pit road. Hopefully they do it just good and tight. It looks like a lot of guys are going to be speeding here, though. They're cooking it in the pit road. I think they made some mistakes.
Keep your eye on the 11, Dohar. Keep your eye on the 10. That's going to be Abar in the 11, Asbel in the 10. And these speeding penalties could be the saving grace that SXRL needs. Even though SXRL is going to have to pit, they won't have the advantage coming out of pit road. But with a couple of these guys surely incurring speeding penalties, it could be the break in the gravy train that SXRL needs to advance.
Wow,
but
they
I'm
all
looking
got
at
out
everybody,
together.
nobody with a speeding penalty.
What an
and
entry.
Nobody with a speeding penalty. They all timed it perfectly, and that could be the race-winning move, Atlanta.
And why it's a race-winning move, I hate to interject, they kicked out another SXRL driver from the main pack. The 00 was behind all of the American Ethanol drivers, and by them pitting, he had to avoid them. So now they've kicked SXRL down to 6 cars. So it's going to be 6 cars versus, I think, 9 cars. This might be their chance.
Man, getting down to the last 10 laps of this race, you do not have hardly any time to get your car and your teammates up to that top spot.
The 24 of NCAR Racing still being scored as the leader. Lucky Dog in the 13 in second place. Lil Snack in the 32 in third. Road Dozer in the number 7 finds himself fourth. The 5 car of Roy in the 5th position. And in 6th, rounding out this front pack, is the 8 of Word Burton. So now we're on lap 18 of 21. The 24 car still leading this race. These 5 cars still have to pit. And I apologize, we're now on lap 86 of 94. Reading positions there. Now the 24 of NCAR Racing relinquishing the lead. That puts car number 13, Lucky Dog, as your new leader.
All coming to the line, only 7 laps to go now. Can the 13 fend off all the other drivers behind him and take home the win here tonight at Talladega? Or will we see somebody else take home that win? Some drivers, hoping for a caution right now. Others praying that is the last case scenario.
For the fans at home, a caution would mean the ultimate finish. It's now 9 laps remaining, 8 to go when they cross the line. The 13 of Lucky Dog being scored as the leader, but these cars about to be caught up by that long train at the back of American Ethanol drivers. Only time will tell. It'll be 8 to go this time by, Dohar.
Yeah, 8 to go this time by. I'm watching the relation between this pack and the pack that is coming out of the tri-oval. They are gaining a decent amount. It's going to be hard. I like what SXRL is trying here, but if you time it wrong, if you pit too late and you miss, the outlap and the other pack has passed you, that's it. Game over. You're outnumbered. I don't care if you've got the eNASCAR Heat Pro League champion leading you. You're not going to catch up to a pack of 9 cars with only 6 competitors in the main pack. That's the tough part. They could be trying fuel, Rick, but again, I just think it's about impossible. I don't think they're going to be able to execute it. It looks like they might try to pit this time, maybe next. They have to execute a flawless pit entry like American Ethanol did. They got to push the envelope, but they can't break it. Here they come. Oh, the 24 is cooking it. He's cooking it. Oh, he's going to speed.
Has come down pit road, and we'll see if the 24 of NCAR Racing sped as well. But here come the SXRL drivers. This is going to be the move that makes or breaks the win. This is the race. If the drivers have executed the pit stops to perfection, they will come out ahead of American Ethanol and secure this victory. If they get speeding penalties, if they come out late, if they can't block the Ethanol
24
charge,
is still in pit road.
To Ethanol. 24 is still there. He's got his speeding penalty. That could be the nail in the coffin, Atlanta.
Yeah, they are booking it around turn 4 onto the front straightaway, looking to see if they can't get on by. And I think we're going to see some similar moves that we saw earlier. Yep, here he comes in Norris Bill. But they seem to have a little bit better of a start.
And it looks like there's one car on the apron all by himself. I think that's the 8 of Ward Burton. He has lost his main pack as well. So now they've lost another driver. And now American Ethanol basically has their whole team together here, aside from the 14. So now they're going to be 9 cars versus, I think I count 4. This is going to be really tough. They got to time this maneuver, and you might see a suicide block by the 5. This is going to be tough. Here they go.
Yep, to the top
to the outside.
Yep, go ahead.
Go ahead, Atlanta.
Nope, go ahead.
10 to the outside with the 12 of Honcho behind him. Mathers in the 4 as they cross the line. They run out of steam headed into the first corner, but they just have more numbers on that outside lane. Starting to lose ground out of the second corner. There goes 3 cars all by themselves. The 5 of Roy lagging behind. So these 3 cars on the inside still not going high to block this Ethanol charge, and that could be the move, a missed opportunity for this lead. 13 of Lucky Dog still leading, but NNR Aswell in the 10 on the high side with the 12 of Honcho and the 4 of Mathers pushing behind. It'll be 4 to go as they cross the line, Atlanta.
Man, oh man, yeah, they definitely missed that opportunity. Go ahead, Dohar.
It's just frustrating because they had the numbers. That was their golden ticket right there. And I don't know how you don't execute that strategy. It's just, I'm watching these guys, they're dipping under each other, you know, their teammates. They're not taking care of each other when they're trying to get these runs. And you know, I mean, as a league owner, you know, it gets me frustrated. I'm frustrated for them. I know Alpha is going to be frustrated too because that was their time. That was perfect. That was the move. It was the move, and they missed it. And now they've had such a hard time. When they're behind the 8 ball, they've had such a hard time trying to get out front. Unfortunately, I just don't think they're going to get the job done.
Asbel in the 10, 4th in line, but he shoots to the outside with Mathers in the 4 behind him. There goes the 11 of Abar to push that outside move. The 10 using the slingshot, squeezing down on the 32 of Little Snack. 3 laps to go. 13, 7, 32, Lucky Dog, Road Dozer, Lil Snack on the inside line for SXRL. 10, 4, 11, Asbel, Mathers, Abar on the outside for American Ethanol. And again, that outside line running out of steam. The cars having trouble syncing up down the back. They're finally getting moving again, but will they have enough out of 4, Dohar?
They're not. Sadly not. I hate to be the pessimist. But I don't, you know, I think 4 cars might have done it as the 11's lagging, and maybe that's the issue. The 11's just lagging, and the 7 lagged. Oh, and now we're everywhere. Now the 13's door checking the 10. Mm-hmm. What's going on? We're losing. I'm losing it up here, guys. 2 to go?
2 laps to go. The 10 edges the 13, and now it looks like SXRL taking the lead on the high side with the numbers. 4, 5, 6 cars hooked up in a train around the outside. 1 1/2 laps to go, Atlanta. American Ethanol with the advantage down the back.
If you're Alpha York, you're screaming to your team, just stay in line. Just stay in line. Go half throttle if you have to. Stay in line on the top. Or if you're the 4, block the bottom and grab the rest of the top line around. You've got to get at least the first 3 positions here, and you can get the victory for your team. They're going to be coming to the white. They've got to execute this right. Alpha's got to be communicating to his team, telling him, go half throttle. We're still going to beat them. The 32's hitting pit road. A lot is going on. SXRL has just lost all of their drivers except for the 13.
Oh, wow.
White flag in the air, the final lap of these 94 scheduled laps at Talladega. The race will go the distance. The 10 of Aspel in the lead. The number 12 of Honcho right behind, third in line. The 88 of Tripp, and now it's going to be an ethanol race to the line. If they don't wreck, they've got the win. Atlanta, will they make a move out of 4?
I don't think it's going to be able to happen. I think the 10 of Inanar Bill is going to be able to take this away as they head into turn 3, into turn 4.
Tell him stay in line. Tell him stay in line. Tell him don't move. Tell the 12
9's
get in
got to
line.
run. He's making a move for the win. 10 down to the inside and crossing the line. It's NNR Asbold who's going to win at Talladega. Number 12 of Honcho finishing in second, and it looks like NNR Tripp coming home in third place, and that is the race win for American Ethanol.
What a finish to the line, and the 13 was trying to pass the 2 to get one more spot, and the 2 had finally had enough of the 13's door checks all night and put him flat in the wall to end the event. But American Ethanol coming away with the top, I don't know, guys, I think that was top 6, 7 spots there. They finally got it done. We'll have to catch up with the SXRL guys to see what happened, because I saw the 7 coming to 2 to go back off of the bottom lane, and then I saw the 32 come to pit road coming to the white. So maybe they tried to take like a half a can, guys, to get as little time on pit road as possible, and maybe they just pushed the envelope too far, and that's what happened and cost them the victory.
We'll see in the driver interviews what happened where. We're going to interview the top 3 for SXRL, the top 3 for American Ethanol. Stay tuned, fans. Your favorite drivers are going to be in the post-race show. We're going to hear from our winners. We're going to hear from our team captains in a moment.
Joe Hart, pause the lobby, please.
Why am I the host? All right. Lobby is paused for you, sir. All right. Atlanta, you just want to pass them off however you want?
Yes, that sounds good.
Hey,
Alright.
announcers, if you wouldn't mind interviewing the winner, he's got to get going quick, so if you wouldn't mind talking to him first.
Where is he?
Can I take
who
that,
is
man?
he? Yeah.
And in our Asbo.
Go ahead.
All right. I am with the hottest commodity in Fast Family Racing League tournament. That is NNR Asville. He's going to be the first driver to clock in 3 victories in this tournament. You didn't get the sweep. You didn't have 3 sweeps, but I'll give you a break because you won stage 1. Take me through, especially stage 2, and we saw the caution come out, and you guys all stayed out, but SXRL topped off. What was going through your mind when stage 2 was unveiling at the end there, and then that kind of basically cleaned the slate and made each team start back from 0 again?
I don't know. We didn't really need that caution, and we didn't know you can go back down and top off. If we would have known that, we would have did that as well, but we didn't know that. And like I said, we were going to be good on fuel because we were saving. I'm pretty sure everybody was saving, but we were going to end up pitting in, like, I think it was 2 laps anyway. So I mean, it kind of threw in a curveball, you know. But it is what it is. It's plate racing. It's hard to get up to the front sometimes when you get a good team going against you.
We've seen you win on a 1.5 miles. We've seen you win on a road course. We've now seen you win on a super speedway. What has allowed you to have such success in this tournament to lead your team to 3 straight victories now?
This G920 sitting right here.
Product placement. I love it. I love it. My man.
Not bad at
Well,
that.
congratulate. Hey. I can't say that, but congratulations nonetheless. NNR Asbill, the first driver to win 3 races in the tournament, has won all 3 of the races, and has led his team to another victory here for American Ethanol. Who's up next, Atlanta?
I'm not sure. Who
Or
is this slidey?
slide job?
That's gonna. Yeah, that'd be me. We're gonna talk to the second place driver for American Ethanol, Mike Honcho.
All right, Mike Concho, you got a copy?
I got you.
All right, man. Well, you guys had a race out here tonight, and it was an interesting race. But how do you think it went for you and your team?
It went pretty well. We just worked as a team the best we could. I mean, we knew the other team was going to be a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always hard when you know the competition's super good, and then you got to go out there and perform your best and just make sure you don't mess up, especially with a lot of guys that you may have not even raced against before.
Right. We just tried our best to play it by ear and take what every once in a while we get a lag spike or a caution. With the caution coming out, we just tried to keep calm and keep working with each other, and I hope it worked out, which luckily it did.
Yeah, well, appreciate you talking to me, and great job tonight, and hopefully, I'll see you on the track and maybe announce another race for you in the future.
All right, appreciate what you all do with the tournament stuff. Appreciate the broadcasting.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
takes 2 to tango. You got to have broadcasters and you got to have the racers. So we appreciate you guys as well as Mr. Slide Job. Who is up next, sir?
All right, we're going to talk to the third highest scoring driver in American Ethanol. Going to be NNR Trip.
All right, you want to take this, Rick?
Trip, we took a lot of looks at the American Ethanol team. We took a lot of looks, at the strategy that they used for mainly passing on the outside and pit stops that won them the race. Would you say that pit stops were the key to taking home? Well, and we don't know yet, but if you come across as the winner, as it seems, would you say that pit stops would be the key to that victory?
I say majority of it, yeah. But us, how we're racing on the track and getting around people, that had a lot to do with it too. I mean, we did our best, gave it what we had. Struggled in stage 2, but we bounced back. Hopefully got the win.
Absolutely, it was a fantastic run for all of the American Ethanol team, and as we go through these post-race interviews, I'm sure we're getting just a bit closer to finding out who's going to end up taking home all the marbles.
All right, next up is going to be the third highest scoring driver for SXRL, Ward Burton.
All right, you want to take that, Dohar?
Let me have this guy, Ward Burton. Well, first off, I want to start with what the heck happened to you coming off pit road on that final pit stop? I saw 4 guys from your team together, and then you all by yourself, like a second and a half behind. What happened out of that final pit stop?
You know, mayhem happened, unfortunately. NCAR took it a little bit hot, or something happened, and he hit me, and I was trying to save it into the pits, and you know, there was nothing I could do at that point. I lost time, and it's unfortunate because I knew I had the chance to race up there towards the end, but you know, things happen. Listen, this is a luck kind of deal in terms of super speedway racing, and from the get-go today, we just didn't have things go our way. You know, we have to do better as a team, and we just didn't execute. You know, got to give a lot of credit, you know, to American Ethanol, Alpha Yorks group. I mean, this is the most respectable group we faced to this point. You know, these guys are top class. Everything, you know, you can ask for, you know, just even before going into this race, you know, it's, hey, what can we do for each other? Even if we didn't get to practice last night, you know, we were on just having fun together because we knew this was going to be a serious event. But at the same time, you know, we have to realize that, hey, this is about the community aspect and everything else. And we want to put on a good show. You know, American Ethanol did that today against us. You know, I'm a little bit disappointed with my result, but, you know, things happen. And, you know, the real big picture, too, I do want to say is, hey, if we don't win today, we have a wild card race to look forward to and move on to. And if we win, we get to face them again. So there could be a round 2 that I look forward to. We just got to hope we get there first and take it one step at a time.
There you go, a good way to look at it. Back to you, Mr. Slide Jump.
All right, now we're going to talk to the second highest scoring driver for SXRL. That's going to be on track. You saw him as A. Roy Air, but on the roster you saw him as Mr. Eat Dirt 94. So let's talk to him.
Roy, you had a good run there in that number 5, and it looks like it was a bit of a shaky event for you, but you managed to turn in some fast laps with some close drafting. How was your race?
Overall, the race was very fun, very eventful. A lot of butt drafting, pushing, shoving. But overall, just great job to American Ethanol. They did an excellent job. Great teamwork, and you know, they executed real perfectly. Give myself to them. Not the right words I need to use though, but I live with it. Overall, just try to help the team out, be their strategy. Just didn't go as planned as we wanted to. So, I mean, we're gonna shake it off and hope that the wildcard race, I believe, we will still be in. Goes well for us, and hope we can get back in.
Absolutely fantastic run. Atlanta?
Yeah, who's next, Mr. Slime?
All right, you're going to talk to the highest scoring driver for SXRL. It's going to be your Pro League champion, on Lucky Dog 385.
All right, Lucky Dog, you got it covered. Hey, man, you had a great race tonight here at Talladega. Would you do anything different if you could go back, and how do you think you performed here tonight?
I mean, there's a lot of things, like, if you look back on it, there's a lot of things I know I could change, and that just goes for any race in particular, but I don't really want to hang my head too much about it. It's restrictor plate racing, it's unpredictable, there's not a lot you could really do in terms of knowing what you could have done better, because, I mean, there's just a lot of draft involved, and, you know, maybe I think we could have had a little bit better team communication, but yeah, that's just part of it. They got the better of us today. American Ethanol did a great job, and we'll do a little wild card thingy, I think. Sorry, I'm a little out there, my bad. So hopefully we can go win there and try and be back next time. I went to the bathroom twice before the race, and just for weight reduction, didn't quite work as well as I wanted it to. But I think overall, you know, we had some good moments there. I had a really good stage 2, and we had a pretty good stage 3 until they just really hooked up on the outside line. We had like 4 guys, and we took no tires that last stop, and I think it was just me and Roy who had tires left. Everyone else had to pit for tires, so that was unfortunate, but it is what it is. I got to thank everybody from SXRL for allowing me to represent them in this series, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, how big this thing has gotten. Got to thank you, all of you guys, for the commentary and put on a good show for us. American Ethanol for being great competitors. Also got to thank Jermaine Racing and Geico for you know, letting me race with them in the Pro League, of course. And you know, it was great to be part of an amazing team and to help represent them really well in the Pro League. And thank everybody, Slide Job for doing a great job in Fast Family Racing League, Showdown for on this great event, and my mom and my dad. I don't know who else to thank. Yeah, it's getting hot in here, so you gotta drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Not the result we wanted, but it was pretty fun.
Well, we greatly appreciate your time out there on the track, and congrats on getting the highest points for your league here tonight, and hopefully we will see more of you in the future.
Stand for, yes sir.
All right, well, it's back to you, Mr. Slide Job.
All right, so it's interesting enough. For the first time in the Fast Family Showdown, we've seen 3-point lead changes in this race. We saw American Ethanol take the lead in Stage 1. Then SXRL pulled it back in Stage 2. Well, guess what? American Ethanol won Stage 3. We're keeping track at home. In Stage 3 alone, they scored 309 to SXRL's 225. That's going to be grand total for SXRL 284 to American Ethanol's 360. So the unofficial result being American Ethanol will be moving on to the round of 8, and SXRL will be going to Michigan. So we are sitting here with the owner of American Ethanol, Alpha York. So after hearing that result, how proud are you of American Ethanol coming in and upsetting the number 1 seed from round 1, and what are you looking forward to in the round of 8?
First thing I gotta say is shout out to all the SXRL guys, man. I got with them, last night, dude. We were up probably till 3, 4 o'clock this morning just having fun in public lobbies. But I mean, we knew they were the number 1 seed. They were going to be the team to beat, and that was more motivation than anything. Last week I was saying in one of the streams, I was like, we want to race the road course or the super speedway rounds because we knew we had a shot. And we probably talked strategy for a good 3 hours today and was practicing for just as long, and that's why we short pitted in round 1 like that, because we knew that the amount of fuel they were going to save to make it on one stop, we knew we could make up that ground if we short pitted and didn't save it all. So that was the whole reason for the whole Stage 1, and then things kind of flip-flopped for Stage 2, and then the pit road execution all race was huge, especially on the 3rd stage, that last pit stop. We were all lined up like immediately off the pit road. So I think a couple of their guys made mistakes, but overall great team win. I'm proud of my guys, man. I'm almost speechless, just like I'm over here shaking just from after all this. So this is awesome, man. I can't thank my guys enough. And Asbel had to dip out early, but he's running that 10 car for GRM Joker. So this, everything we do from here on out, this is for him. So shout out, to all my guys, man. Congratulations. I know we get to advance. I don't know what the short track round's gonna bring, but we're more than excited to get there.
Absolutely, it's definitely be exciting. Congratulations on that. If the result stands up, you are moving on to the round of short tracks. All right, sure. Next up, we are here with the owner of SXRL, Sebby 12RN. So Sebby, you guys came in, maybe the favorites with the bye, but it seemed like you just had troubles on track. But either way, you're not going home tonight. If the result stands, you're going to Michigan. You get to race a second time you did so well. So tell us how your team worked all race long, and if you go to Michigan, how are you going to prepare for that?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank Alpha York for his team showing up and putting on a great competitive show. They definitely got the better of us today, and kudos to them. That's 110% on them. We gave them all that we could with what we could. We didn't have everything go right, but that's just a part of this super speedway racing. But yeah, looking forward to Michigan. That's a track that a lot of us do enjoy. So I think right now, just looking at the roster, you may be able to already pick out the top 5 that we're going to select for that race. And it'll be a lot of fun watching them take after it. Man, obviously it's a little disappointing to not just automatically get that lock in to the next round, but needless to say, we're looking forward to having a shot to race again, so it's not pack up your bags and go home, it's pack up your bags and head to Michigan.
Absolutely, and it's definitely a good feeling knowing you're not out of the woods yet, but you definitely are gonna have to fight, 4 teams instead of 1 when we go to Michigan. So I know a lot of people at home are wondering, because you have so many talented guys, give us a snapshot. Who do you think is going to be in that top 5?
Well, sorry, Dohar, we're not going to be sitting Lucky Dog on this one.
I never expect you to.
So anyways, it just also depends on the availability. We're all going to do a big group test session just to see kind of who's running where and what we feel most comfortable with sending out, because taking 13 drivers, you gotta take 5 of them. But a big shout out to the Fast Family Racing League for having this tournament. It's been an absolute blast meeting a whole bunch of different leagues and different people within them. Just having something else to watch during this crazy year of 2020 has been an absolute thrill. And thank you to Control Freak for coming on as a league sponsor of us. If you use promo code SXRL at checkout, you'll receive 10% off your order. It's a good way for you guys on controllers to step your game up a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that, and good luck to you guys in the round of Michigan, or the wild card at Michigan, and hopefully we see you again after that. So with that, I'm going to send it back up to the booth, to the guys, to talk about the race that's going to be happening in just half an hour and Tuesday.
Yeah, we got another race coming up. It's going to be race 4 of round 3 of the Fast Family Racing Showdown series. And then what else we got coming up next week?
Atlanta coming up next Tuesday, the 15th. We're going to have ENEA, the eNASCAR Elite Association, take on No Name Racing League, 9 p.m. from the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. That's going to be hosted by Repeat, Frozen Toes, and J-Mac. That's Tuesday the 15th, 9 p.m. Eastern from Daytona. ENEA takes on No Name.
Well, sounds like a great plan. We greatly appreciate Mr. Slide Job doing everything he does for this tournament. I am Rick James, and JR and Dohar in the booth with me tonight for this Talladega race. Big congrats to all the drivers having a great race here tonight, and always great seeing some friendly competition. Well, we will see you guys in about 25 minutes for the next race. Hope you all had a great night and enjoy the rest of your weekend.